Like, literally, every romantic scene lasted, like, less than a page, and it was literally just him, like, grabbing her boob.
You're not wrong. Welcome to Red Wine Reads, a community of book lovers talking about our favorite and not so favorite books while pouring a glass or two of wine. I'm your host, Jenna Weston, and with me today is Ella Kopickin. Now, before we start, I should warn you that we do spoil the endings of the books we review, so if you don't like that, then please go finish the book and come right back to this episode, or just find another episode for a book that you have. Now, here's what you can expect from each and every one of our episodes. We start with a super short 60-second summary, and then some quick facts to get you oriented. Then we will answer the question, would you recommend this book, with a simple yes or no, and spend the majority of the episode arguing why or why not. Sometimes we are on the same side, sometimes we are not, as you will see in this episode. We end the show with final ratings out of 5 and pairings, where we will pick drinks, TV shows, movies, and other books that might pair well with today's read. Each episode also hosts its own drinking game, so whatever your drink of choice, wine, cocktail, mocktail, coffee, water, we hope that you'll sip along with us. Now, this is a very exciting episode because it is the second iteration of our Outlander series with Ella and I. We decided to make a pact that we will read one book per year, as these books are massive, and it is a 10-book series, so catch us in a decade when we finally finish this series. But this is the second one, Dragonfly and Amber, so we are very excited to chat about it. One of us may have liked it more than the other, I'm sure you can assume who, but it was a great conversation, arguing in a playful and respectful way, but we had a good time talking about this book and what we liked and what we didn't like. So without further ado, let's pull some corks and get reading. This week we read Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. As we're recording. Ella, welcome.
Hello, lads and lasses!
Lassie.
Welcome to Outlander 2!
It's, you know that the intro, the theme song's gonna play, gonna get copyrighted.
Sing me a song!
Oh my gosh, yeah, so you know it, we're back. I mean, it's been a year, so of course we had to bring back Outlander Part 2.
We were just reading too many difficult, sad books at my own behest, and I made a judgment call that we needed the absolute most romantic palate cleanser, and you know what happened? It bit me in the ass, okay? Because I have a lot to say today, and almost none of it's gonna be good, so strap in.
But don't worry, you have a friend on your side. Me.
Yeah, you have a friend in Jenna, and you have a foe in Ella.
Yeah, 'tis me. So, well, let's get started. Dragonfly and Amber.
Should we say what we're drinking?
I mean, yes. I'm going out of order. So, yes. Ella, what are you drinking as you're holding it up?
I'm holding it up for no one. I'm holding it up for Jenna. A Pacifico. It's the only alcohol I currently have that's reachable and open in my home. I could have opened a bottle of champagne. Not going to do that for this book.
Yikes.
You?
Yes. So I'm drinking. You're gonna give me grief. San Pellegrino Blood Orange mixed with whiskey.
Everybody, Jenna now works at Nestle, and Jenna is famously on the Pellegrino account.
So drinking game. Drink anytime Jenna and Ella adopt a Scottish accent.
Okay, and as I told Jenna before this podcast started, we have a shared doc for our notes, and Jenna said, drink anytime Jenna and Ella adopt an Irish accent. I don't know if you guys, the listeners, know, but Outlander famously takes place where? Scotland, okay? If any of our listeners are Scottish or Irish, let me apologize on behalf of our host.
I apologize. I was moving through it quickly.
She's been drinking too much Pellegrino.
Been drinking too much Pellegrino mixed with whiskey. Drink anytime Jenna repeats Claire's name just to say Claire.
Claire.
Claire. Drink anytime there's a Scotsman we can't remember.
There's a lot of characters in this book. Ladies and germs, there's a lot of characters.
Or just like any dude with an accent in this book.
Yeah, literally.
And then drink for the amount of times it takes Jenna to pronounce Diana Gabaldon's name right. I did it right the first try.
I've always thought it was like Galdabon or...
Yes, I switched the L and the B every single time. Gabaldon. Like Gal Gadot?
Gabaldon. What a bad last name.
5
Sorry.
drinks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways. All right. So we've stalled enough. 60-second summary.
Facepalm.
Okay.
So we meet Claire. She is returned from the Stones. This is years later. She's with her daughter, Brianna. They go to Scotland. They meet a man named... Excuse me. They meet a man named Roger. Roger immediately has a crush on Brianna. Roger is living in this like old church with all these historical records that Claire needs. Claire's looking to see if Jamie died in the Battle of Culloden with other soldiers. He didn't, I don't think. And then she like breaks down and she's like, Brianna, your dad wasn't Frank Randall. In fact, he was a man from the 1700s who I had the best sex of my life with. And then we go back to the 1700s. We're in France. Jamie and Claire are safe from Jack Randall. They have landed themselves in a sweet spot with a wine merchant. They are getting in there trying to ruin Bonnie Prince Charlie's plan to take over Scotland. I can't remember if he is Jacobite or if he's anti-Jacobite. I think the thing is that he's pro-Jacobite, like he's the Jacobite guy. Long story short, they become good friends with Bonnie Prince Charlie. Claire gets sexually assaulted with this other chick named Mary who has a stutter. Then Jamie somehow gets arrested. Claire has to sleep with the King of France to get him unarrested. She loses a child in the process of, I don't even think it's in the process of that, it's something else. At one point she gets waxed. Then we leave France and we go back to Scotland. For a while, we're sitting pretty in Scotland, but then Jamie accidentally gets signed up as being part of Charles's army. Then we spend 200 pages going through Scotland for no fucking reason, okay? Like, so long. There's almost no sex in this book. We're gonna get to that, okay? Then Claire gets pregnant again, and Jamie can tell because she missed her period and has weird colored nipples. Not a fact that I needed to, like, hear Jamie say. Okay, and then Jamie's like, you gotta go back through the stones. You gotta go back through the stones and carry my seed with you. And she's like, I don't want to do it. And he's like, I'm gonna die in the battle anyway. And then she goes back, and we don't know what happens to him. And in the process, we find out Jack Randall's still alive, too. Like, that's a whole thing. And then in the end, Claire and Roger team up. Brianna gets really pissed at her and I think calls her mom like a bitch, which is really funny. And then in the end, we just are like trying to find, and we figure out that Jamie didn't die at Culloden, and that's the cliffhanger of the second book. All right. Thank you.
Anyways, quick facts. This was published in 1992, year after book 1 came out. Book 2 of a 10-book series. The latest 10th book just was released probably last year. I think it like hadn't been released when we recorded our first
It's
episode.
Still going?
I think it's done now. Who knows?
Hi.
Yeah. 4.3 on Goodreads, 4.15 on Storygraph.
You're joking. Yep. James Baldwin books we've read here have had lower grades than this book.
We'll get into it, and I know why.
Okay.
I know why. Oh God, here we go. Diana
Take a sip.
Gabaldon. Diana, so she serves as co-producer and advisor for the popular series that was released in 2014. Pretty much follows it to the T for the first, I think, 2-3 seasons, and then it maybe starts to take a detour.
Oh, no. We're going to talk about it. There's a crucial scene difference in the book versus the TV show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I stopped after the wedding
It's
episode.
actually not crucial, but Ella can talk about it.
It's crucial to Ella.
It's crucial to me.
Ella. Native of Flagstaff, Arizona. She also worked a dozen years as a university professor before she started to write Outlander. And she writes scientific articles, textbooks, founded the scientific computation journal Science Software Quarterly, and she wrote numerous comic book strips for Walt Disney. So none of this has anything to do with her novels, but it's kind of
woman of many talents.
I know, kind of cool. Anyways, let's get into it. We got a short amount of time and a big book to talk about.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this one, huh?
Alrighty, here we go. Our first disagreement of the night. Would you recommend this book? Yes or no?
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll give it. I'll start with a light touch.
Yeah.
I said hell yeah. I just said, just listen to it. Trust me. Trust me on this. Get the audiobook. You won't be sad that you did. The lady that reads it, perfection. She just adds such life to these characters and such life to Clayme. I didn't even mean to say that.
Okay.
But yes. Yeah. Little does Ella know I'm like on all of the fan channels.
By the way, I'm looking at the doc right now. What does this second one say, Jenna? What does your second bullet point say?
I'll tell you. The history, the romance, the badass women. Oh, damn it. The Scottish laddies in their plaid kilts.
She wrote Irish lads. Irish lads.
I did say laddies.
Yeah, wrong laddies.
In their plaid kilts running around the countryside. Need I say more? I don't know. I was in an Irish kick when I was writing this, I guess. Scottish. I'm fixing it right now. And then I said Claire and Jamie are the perfect couple, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
Okay. No. That's fair. My first bullet point, bro, no, in all caps. I love the first book. You're talking to a girl who lived in Scotland for 4 years. I am up in that country's business, okay? I watched the first 3 seasons of this TV show. I am a fan. This book had no sex in it, okay? And what is the only reason why I am reading Outlander for? Sexual encounters. Am I reading Outlander to find out about Jacobite history? No, I don't care about Jacobite history, okay? Also, let's talk about Jamie and Claire for a second. Yeah, in the first book, I'm all for it. I'm there. There are several moments in this book where they get toxic as hell. I'm thinking in particular of the moment on top of a hill in which Jamie gets borderline violent with Claire, and yes, it's like kind of consensual. No, it's consensual, but it's literally her being like, I'm owed this because I disobeyed you. And you're like, all right, interesting. It doesn't feel like BDSM in a classically consensual way. It feels like BDSM in like a it's like payback. Okay?
Or is it BDSM Scottish Brogue edition?
There's a lot of ways to read this. I have a lot of problems with how Jamie is portrayed in this book. Jamie is saying some shit that is so unattractive, it's crazy. The nipples comment, there is so much stuff that Jamie says in this book where I'm like, do you see Claire as a cow for you to milk? Like, I am out of here with this shit. Also, yes?
I'm just saying, like, he's just paying attention. He's just like...
Yeah, but you know what?
He's in tune with her body.
He's in tune with her body to such an extent that I'm like, relax, okay? Literally chill. I'm not into it, okay? And you're talking to somebody who is just joined the app field, who is very kink positive. I am not into this book, okay?
Okay, that's fair.
Finally, as I wrote, oh my god, it's so long I want to stab myself in the knee before I read this again. Why is this book 750 pages?
Yeah.
It's so unnecessarily long. We
Oh,
could
it
have
is.
conveyed this in so many fewer words that we did.
100%. I agree with you there.
Okay? That we can now debate the topics that I have laid before you.
I will agree with you on that one, 100%. But we'll start with what sparkled. Again, let me go back on my point. I think I said this in the first book. Whoever reads this on the audiobook, I need to find her and I need to thank her.
And I need to kiss her.
And I need to kiss her because she is so phenomenal. The way she like portrays these characters, and her just like reading it is, you know, like when you listen to the audiobooks for Harry Potter and like the famous audiobook narrator.
I've never once listened to an audiobook, and that's my
Okay.
burden to bear, and I'm sorry,
Fair.
everybody.
Okay, that's okay. Well, it's like that. Like, she honestly deserves whatever recognition this Harry Potter guy gets because she's doing a phenomenal job. I will say, when I listen to audiobooks, I listen to it at 2.25 speed.
That's psycho.
I don't think so, but it did start playing automatically in the car when Casey was in the car, and he just looks at me. He goes, "Do you understand what they're saying?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I do." But anyways, it was very good. So it did turn a 35-hour book into a 17.
I want everybody to hear that. A 35-hour book. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
are we doing?
Yeah.
Diana,
So anyway,
come on.
we'll get into it. But I will say, like, the romance for me is top notch. I think maybe why I liked it was because they're kind of settling into this like just married life, and that's kind of where I'm at. I think their banter is so good.
Their banter is top notch. I'll agree with you there. And like, listen, I'm the number one, like, Jamie can get it, girl. Like, that man is attractive. I understand why. But that's why I'm like, don't have him say nerd shit. Like, let's not.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love that he'll like. I just love their banter. I cannot get over it. Like, he'll say something, like Claire will say something. Claire will say something. Claire. Where she'll like, you know, get something wrong about like what he's doing or like how he, you know, is like treating someone because that's just like how he grew up and how he like did something, and then he'll like tell her and like say it in a funny way. I'm like, Jamie, classic Jamie.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny because I'm realizing that people read these books for different reasons. And for me, when they talk, I'm like, okay. Oh. Now, when they get it on, I'm like, here we go.
Okay.
So that's my, okay. So that's why this book, I was like, all right, how many sassy convos do we want to have before somebody kisses somebody on the mouth, huh?
Yeah, I think, well, and this bleeds into my next point of discussion, but I think, like, they're, again, the touch her and you die trope, my favorite of all time. Like, if somebody's, like, super, like, you know, fronting as, like, a tough guy. I love that.
We are learning a lot about Jenna today.
I know. Yeah, we are. Do we want to? I don't know. Come along this journey with us. And they have it both ways. They have it both fucking ways. So you're touching on everything for me. Like, Jamie's, like, very protective of her and very being like, you can't, you know, with Jack Randall, like, do not fucking come close to her. But then she's also that way with Jack Randall of, like, touch him and you die, and I am digging it. I love that, you know, tension. And I also love that he just cut Jack Randall's dick clear off.
Clean off.
Just he's
if
like,
anybody deserved to lose, if anybody ever deserved to lose his member,
him.
Jack Randall. Mm-hmm. What a bad rapist. I don't like that guy at all.
Honestly.
Jesus.
Yeah. So honestly, good on him. Because that's like kind of the worst thing that could happen to a guy like him. And now he has to live with it.
I will say, and this is not something that I put in my What Sparkled, but I do think it's a point that is made in the first book that's also made in the second book that I do think is really smart, which is this like concept of like Claire needing to keep this person alive in order for her future husband and therefore child, or I guess not therefore child, but in order for her future husband to exist, is just like consistently such a great quandary of like having to deal, because I feel like when in books like these, it's always really hard to justify like why the villain is staying alive. And so the fact that there's something built in here that like makes it so the villain has to stay alive and he's a really meaty, awful villain, it's such a great like built-in narrative, because then you get to have all this contention with him and you understand why ultimately there has to be this like fundamental like we can't kill him. And that is, I think, really well done.
Yeah, he's such a bad villain too. And so it's like, and I love that like when she's talking to him, she'll see glimpses of Frank and then it's kind of like throws her off. And she's like, oh God. And that's interesting. But anyways, that's what I liked.
What did I like? Thank you for asking.
Here we go.
1700s France. Okay? I'm a big fan of 1700s France. We're pre-revolution, but we are in the height of Versailles vibe, and I'm digging it. Everybody is like in the zone in sexy clothes, going to parties. I love that energy. That's one thing I love. Next thing I love, Jamie's hot. Already covered that rant. Jamie is just objectively attractive. It sucks that he has to be made into the weirdest human being alive in the second book, but we can go in. I'm obsessed with Roger and his creepy, lonely ass. Third bullet point. Roger is so weird, and I really like him. And it's funny because, so as I said, I've watched like the first 3 seasons of the TV show, and I don't like Roger as a character in the TV show. But there's something about him in the book that is like, just like this dude, this academic. He like clearly hasn't dated a lot. He's suddenly like super horny for Claire's daughter. And he's like reconciling with that. But he also like really likes Claire. I don't know, he's just like kind of funny and random and like likes history and like it's just like he seems like a good hang, you know? There's like a weird tension with him and his like maid who wants to like be his wife, and that's pretty funny.
Fiona's I love Fiona. Like, let's give it up for this side character who just throwing.
Fiona's throwing herself and her many baked goods at this man who does not want her. It really cracks me up. Yeah, he just is funny, and I really like his interactions with Brianna. So Brianna, I don't know. Claire is absolutely batshit cuckoo in this book. I'm obsessed. Yeah. That's my other point. Claire is like, she is feral. That is the energy I would describe Claire as. She's at her lowest low. She's at her highest highs. She's like, yeah! Like, have violent sex with me on this mountaintop! Like, I'm, like, she just really is, like, going off in this book in a way that, like, in the first book, you're like, okay, yeah, no, she has her stuff together. She's a war nurse. She can really handle intense situations. And in this book, she's just like, it's basically like she's running naked through a field. She's not, but she just basically is in her mind. Like, she's dressing scandalously. She's saving Jamie in any way she can. She's getting super, protective. I don't love their codependency, but it does drive the story. Yeah. So I'm into it.
I feel like in the first book, like, she's still, like, having a lot of reservations because she's still thinking about Frank. But I feel like in the second book, she's kind of like, well, sex with Frank has never been this good, so we may as well take advantage of it.
No, exactly. In this book, she's just like, I am ready to, like, bone and eat and be merry and fend off any weird people. Like, she's going off, and I really
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
And then my final point that I really like is I really like how they cut to the different time frames. Like, I think starting with and ending with the 60s is
Mm.
really, really smart.
Yeah.
And like having, because then it's like, as a reader, it's satisfying because you kind of get to see the payoff of like what happened to Claire, but
Mhm.
you also at the same time get the payoff of like still a lot of Claire and Jamie. So it's
Mhm.
like you're kind of like first book questions are being answered at the same time that you also kind of get the continuation of the narrative that you're really there for.
Mhm.
And I think killing Frank is the smartest thing that Diana could do. Nobody gave a fuck about Frank. So the fact that he's not in this book, 2 thumbs up. Like, nobody cares about you, bro. Worst part of the first book.
Yeah. But
So
like there's part of me that was like, yeah, honestly, I would be Frank if your, wife came back after being missing and she's pregnant and she's like, yeah, this man from the 1700s fucked me into oblivion and then we have a love child.
if I was Frank, I'd be like, shit happens. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. It's post World War II. At that point, like, what are you gonna do? Like, just go buy a house. Like, he's fine. He's a war historian or not a war, but what is he? He teaches history. He's a history professor. Like,
Professor? Yeah.
I'm sure he cheated on her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he had his own life. Like, whatever. You're telling me she was gone for like 2 years and he didn't have sex with anybody else? Like, grow up, everybody. He was probably on Hinge.
Yeah, maybe maybe book 3 is just all about Frank's unhinged love
Ethical
affair.
non-monogamy. My wife is currently time traveling. Need a side boo in the meantime.
Yeah, book 3, here we come.
Book 3, Frank's sexual escapades while Claire is off.
Yeah, I can't wait. All right. Let's get into the biggest point that we both had in all caps.
Too long.
Jesus. I texted Ella. We were supposed to record this last week behind the scenes. And I go, girl, I've been listening to this for like 4 straight days and I am 8 hours in of a 35-hour book.
I got this book and I was like, excuse me? 730 pages? Like, and by the way, as I said earlier, 200 of those pages are just them randomly walking through Scotland.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need it. I don't need to meet Jamie's grandpa.
Oh, I
Like,
loved
what?
that part. I loved that
Oh
part.
my god. The way I skipped that part, basically.
You didn't see her stick her fingers up his prostate?
Oh, no, I did. And I was like, gross. But that's what I mean. Claire is going off in this book. Claire doesn't give a fuck in this book.
Yeah. She's like, whatever. Do you want to pee? Or do you want to, like, not?
Like, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like, what? This is romance. What? We're sticking our fingers up an old man's butt? What? You're talking about one of the this is supposed to be one of the like sexiest relationships of all time? Like, what are we talking about? It feels like Diana like took like acid and was like, and then they're gonna meet the grandfather and she's gonna save his prostate. And you're like, what are you talking about? Parts of this book I would like look up from reading it on the bus and I'd be like, how is she even getting here? Like, where are we even going with this?
Yeah. It got a little haywire-y, I will say.
Yeah.
I think you could have honestly taken out, like, they were exiled from France to Scotland. And then, like, I feel like from that to when they meet, like, Dougal again, you could just cut all of it.
Yeah, literally.
And then, like, just meet in the stables and then go from there.
Literally.
We didn't need Jenny. Is it Jenny? Pregnant again?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Oh, my God. stop talking about Jamie's freaking sister and her husband. Like, we get it. They're happy and in love and they have kids. Why do I care?
We didn't need that. We didn't need it.
And it's always like, what are you proving? Like, I'm a woman and I have kids and I farm. And you're like, cool. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I don't know. And like, yeah. And I was also like, you want Jamie to take your husband who has no leg into the war?
Yeah, what was that conversation? She's like, I need to prove that he's a real man, so I need you to, like, say that you're gonna take him, but then don't.
You're like, girl, if you're having boring sex, just say.
And by the way, she is. We need to find this girl a farm boy stat. We need to find this girl a young buck stat.
Because she said it at the end of the stay with Jamie and Claire. So she was hearing what was going on next door.
She's like, please, I really want to have sex with my neighbor. Please, I'm begging you to take him. God.
Okay, here's my second point that we brought up. Honestly, you kind of brought up in the beginning. What the fuck happened? Who is the prince? Who is the king? Who is Bonnie?
Bonnie Prince Charlie. This is the thing. You can't bring real life history into a fantasy book. It's too confusing.
I was so confused.
Frankly, it's not that interesting. Like, is the story of Scottish independence really getting you off? Because that's what Diana thinks is happening. Like, I'm interested in that, but I want to read an actual history of it. And instead what I got was, it's like actually the worst possible version of Two Worlds. Because it's subpar, poorly told Scottish history combined with having to sacrifice romance and sexual fantasy for the telling of history, and you're not even telling the history in a good way. So it's like you're doing neither of those things a service by combining them. Just make shit up. It's enough that she time travels. Why do I care about Charles taking over Scotland and the Jacobite rebellion?
I don't know. I just all of it blended together at the very end, and I was like, at this point, I don't know who's on what side. I don't even know what side.
Who's on first?
Yeah, I was like, I think Dougal was Jacobite.
Dougal was Jacobite. Jamie was pretending to be Jacobite, but then he got coerced into being Jacobite through a letter. Okay, but he was never actually Jacobite. He just had to pretend he was.
Because and then Bonnie is who?
Bonnie Prince Charlie is the leader of the Jacobite rebellion. So the idea is that I don't know if I'm correct. The idea is that King James was king of England and Scotland. And then Bonnie Prince Charlie was in exile in France and made a stake to claim the throne to lead a rebellion in Scotland. And he wanted to use the heads of the Scottish clans to do that. So Jamie, as the head of Clan Fraser, and because he was spying and became friends with Bonnie Prince Charlie as a spy, Bonnie Prince Charlie wrote him down as a supporter of the Jacobite rebellion, and therefore he had to go through with that, even though he was never a supporter of it.
Okay. See, that makes a lot more sense. That's all we needed. That paragraph right there.
Literally. I love that Diana was like, oh, everybody knows this. I don't need to say, like, why do I need to explain the history of Scotland? This is basic shit. Like, no, it's not.
Nope. Yeah, I was honestly thoroughly confused the whole time. So I'm glad you cleared that up, though.
Happy to do it.
And then my last point, and we can get into your laundry list, but again, not a huge fan of the pregnancy trope. Like, that is just not my favorite thing. Because
they can't have sex.
Well, they can.
Well, they can, but they barely do.
Yes. I did like the twist that this was not Brie. Like, when you start out and then you think that will be Brie, but then it wasn't Brie.
And then she loses the baby.
Which was tough.
Yeah, I just am like, it's sad, and like obviously I sympathize, and like it's cool that I guess she wrote that into the book, whatever, but I'm just
The
like
butt is gonna come hard after this.
I'm just like, bruh, like again, I don't read this for real life stuff. Like, why do we have to put such a damper on the situation? Like, can't you just get pregnant at the end, and can't they just like have like hot sex before that? I'm just so over the fact that there was no romantic scenes in this book. Like, literally every romantic scene lasted like less than a page, and it was literally just him like grabbing her boob.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, God. So, stay tuned for next year. Because I feel like book 3, she's going to go back through the stones, and they're going to have one hell of reunion sex.
That's what I wrote. I wrote that later on. Okay. I don't need to get into it.
Let's continue.
I don't need to get into it too deeply. As we just discussed, there's no sex appeal in this book because they're spending too much time talking about history.
Yep.
Jamie's really weird. He keeps saying stuff. Oh, crucial thing about why Jamie is so weird in this book. The scene that's different that I'm talking about in the TV show versus the book.
Oh, yes.
Claire gets waxed, okay? And in the book, in the TV show, Claire gets waxed, and Jamie goes, everybody say it with me, Sassenach, your honey pot is bare. It's so funny. And then they proceed to have sex because she waxed her vagina. Sorry, everybody. Sorry to say it. Okay, in this book, she doesn't do that, and then he judges people who do. And I'm like, that's not the vibe. That's not what I want from Jamie. I don't want judgment. I want him into it, okay? That's a crucial difference that I actually think the TV show got right about his character that this book did not get right. And thank you for letting me speak my truth, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
2 other things really quickly. Sorry. Oh my god. Do you know my least favorite thing in a book / movie / anything is? I don't know what to do here. Let's just put a rando kid in who can be cute. Okay? The adoption of the character Frasier, where all of a sudden Frasier. Yeah, of course you did. Everybody eats the kid up with a goddamn spoon because they're like, oh, he's so adorable. Oh, he does little favors. No, I don't care about him, okay? You're eliminating the possibility of the 2 main characters having sex because you're in the room, okay? I don't read romance novels for a rated G 10-year-old to be running around spying for people, okay? It's not why I'm into romance. Finally, okay?
I'm just letting you go. Just let her cook. Let's go.
Yeah, let me cook. Finally, this woman is writing fake feminism, okay? I am so done with this thing of oh, women who can do things. It's no, okay, you're writing about this woman who is incredibly capable. She's a war nurse. She's seen some shit. She's time traveled, okay? She should be a freaking feminist character. Instead, she spends most of the book looking for and defending her dumbass husband. Also, it's what? So you're super smart and intelligent and all that, and it's oh, I'll give up my whole life to just have sex with you, and I want to raise your babies, but I don't want any life of my own. And then she works in the hospital. That's her one
life.
Her life is the hospital. Then she's I need something to do, so she goes and works with the nuns at the hospital as a way to prove her own independence. But it's then in the end she can't even do that, and I'm not into it. It's fake, second wave feminist energy where it's oh my god, she can do anything. Women can do anything, but in the end they're still gonna end up with their husbands. And I'm no, that's a bad character vibe, okay? And also Jamie sucks in this book. Have I said it enough? Okay, he is not giving in this book, and he's barely giving sex. So I'm not here for it.
You have a lot of good points. Do I agree with all of them? No.
No. Say what you don't agree with. Go.
I do think that there is sex appeal. because I think that the tension and the banter between the two is honestly enough for me. I'm like, they are just like I don't know. There's just something about them that I like gravitate toward. And again, I'm like, I don't know if it is because like I'm in like the first year of my marriage and there's like some parallels where it's like I am not pregnant. Let's make that very clear.
Let's make that very clear, shall we?
Very clear. But like, I don't know. There's just like some, there you get to like a comfort level where you get to see kind of your partner's quirks and your partner's like weird things that I love. And you get to see Jamie being a little bit weird and like a little bit cringy, and I kind of love it. And like they fight about things, and it's, I don't know. I can't get enough of them.
Maybe I need to be married for a year to enjoy this book.
Get married. Do it.
All right, boys. Come down the pipe. Let Daddy Ella see you. Let Daddy take a look.
Laddies, she is single.
And ready to mingle. Oh my god, I love Scottish people.
Well, let's go. Let's get into final ratings. We got to get Ella out the door. Well, this is great. I'll go first quickly. 4 out of 5. I just said damn. Diana Gabaldon gets me. Gabadoodadoon. I just think like the romance, like the history, you're also hitting on. I am like a sucker for like medical dramas, so also like you're hitting the medical. I know, it's literally my like kryptonite, my catnip, if you will. So she hit it on the head. I just think like I giggle, I like kick my feet. I love it. I love everything about it. I said, was it 300 pages longer than it needed to be? 100%. We did not need 300 of those pages. Was the history super murky and the characters blended all together? 100%. Absolutely. But did I eat the shit up? Of course I did. Of course I did. And do I look forward to book 3? I do.
You know what's weird? You know what's weird? I still am looking forward to it. Like, I'm still really looking forward to book 3.
All right.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
What is that?
No, I had a book like that where I absolutely hated book 1, but I was like, do I want to read the rest of the series? I do.
I don't know what that is. I said 2.5 out of 5. Yet again, I said, where was the sex? Excuse me. I'm going to stop making that point because I've made it so many times. I'm not reading 731 pages of a romance book to learn about war strategy or lost pregnancies or people keeping tabs of other people's periods or agricultural cycles. No, I'm reading it for long sex scenes, and there were maybe 3 here. I'm reading my summary now.
No, I love it.
OMG, girl, who even cares? I kind of like the Brianna and Roger thing, but there wasn't even satisfaction with that with a kiss or anything. We don't even see Roger and Brianna kiss. Cray cray.
No, he just gets boners all the time.
Yeah, Roger just keeps getting boners in his tweed jacket. Everybody relax. Boo! Jamie is weird in this one, and the shit that comes out of his mouth is so unsexy. Diana better clean up her act with the 3rd one, or I'm so done. At this point, she has a big-ass hill to climb. That's what I said.
Oh my god.
Kind of like Claire climbing back up that hill to go through those stones.
For a big ol' spanking. Alright, well, let's get into pairings. And again, join us next year for book 3.
Join us next year for book 3. Look out. It will get heated. Yeah. It will get heated.
It always does. Pairings. So we like to end the show with pairings, book, drink, TV show, and movie that might pair well with today's book. So, starting off with drink. I did whiskey.
Classic.
You just said, yeah. There's no other. They're getting drunk off of whiskey and.
I said Italian red wine from a barrel. because there's this like whole thing where there's like imported red wine, and then people get pox or something on the boat, and they have to like keep like sending the boats back or whatever. Like, but it really made me be like, man, wine in the 1700s must have been so good. I just kept thinking about like being at Versailles, and you're like, oh yeah, give me a bottle of that barrel wine, bro. Like, I'm into it.
It was probably so chunky and so tanny.
Ugh. Oh
like
my
it just
God.
stuck to your mouth. Their mouths were just like permanently red.
Let's talk about it. People's mouths must have been disgusting. Okay? Disgusting. Like, there's like one scene about Claire trying to keep her teeth clean in that era, and I'm like, good luck, Queenie, because there's no way that's happening.
Also, she's drinking throughout the entire pregnancy.
Yeah, like,
I was like, girl.
I know. Which I'm like, girl, like, I guess it's the 60s though, so she probably doesn't know, actually.
Yeah.
If it's in the 40s in her mind, she's like, where's the nearest cigarette? Give me a bottle of bourbon. I can have both of these things with a baby in my belly.
Just makes them tougher. All right, well, TV show.
Yeah, what'd you say?
So I said The Great.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, I feel like we're probably going to cycle through like the same 3 TV shows.
There's only so many TV shows.
Yeah, but I think like the second season especially, she's pregnant. Also dealing with a coup.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of similarities there.
Hashtag that feeling when you're dealing with a coup.
There you go. What do you do? I love your choice.
I did Downton Abbey. Mm-hmm. Why did I do Downton Abbey? Because the drama, and also it really rides that line between being sexy and deeply unsexy. Like, Downton Abbey, talk about a show that you walk away from an episode and you're like at once like, oh wow, Matthew and Mary, gorgeous, and then you're like, oh my God, every other character is so unsexy. Anyway, I watched that show for Anna and Bates and for Matthew and Mary and Sybil and what's-his-face, the butler. But everybody else, can you believe I even remembered that? Downton Abbey hasn't been on since I was like 12. And I'm still like knocking back those names. Oh, you've never watched it?
No, I should.
Really? Because I watched it in real time with my mom when it was on. And let me tell you, I was like 14 when that show was on. So, even younger. I must have been like 11 or 12 when the final seasons of that show came out. And I was like, he has an ulcer? Get him to a doctor. It really rides the line. Anyway, highly recommend. I think you and Casey would lap up Downton Abbey. Are you kidding me? You gotta do a Downton Abbey watch.
Okay. Well, we just finished Paradise, so we may...
PBS?
Yep.
PBS, Downton Abbey. Get it.
Love it. The book. So for book, I did The Women.
Nice.
Kristen Hanna. So, honestly, I just pulled it from like the women in medical field side of things because I wanted to try to pull a little bit different. But if you liked the scenes where Claire was at the hospital, working with sick people and doing all the things, The Women is about the women in the Vietnam War who were flown over to help in the hospitals there. So if you like the war nurse kind of vibe, The Women is a great book.
Actually, you're inspiring me. I'm going to change my answer. Atonement.
What, from Pride and Prejudice question mark?
Yeah, I did not have a book. Atonement. The main character of Atonement, also a deeply sexy book about a tragic couple, but like in a hot way. I guess, no, Claire and Jamie are pretty tragic because she has to go back through the studs. Atonement's also about a couple that can't be together. World War I, so technically a period piece. But yeah, the main character is also a war nurse, and she's a real tough cookie. And that's like one of the sexiest, saddest books I've ever read. So we read it on this show. You can go back to our episode.
Is it imprinted in my brain?
The bookshelf scene is imprinted in everybody's brain. Go back and listen to our episode. We really loved that book. It's like one of my favorite books I've read on this show. So
yeah. I honestly almost put it as the movie choice just because I was like,
Also an incredible film.
Yeah, anytime I bring it up, Casey's like, the typewriter film? Yep.
Yeah, that typewriter movie. Casey gets it. Casey gets it.
He gets it. Movie. I did Wuthering Heights. The 2011 version. I watched this because we read Wuthering Heights in high school, and then we watched the movie. And I just like became obsessed with it. And I just think it's like the sad girl, sad boy kind of vibe in there out in the middle of nowhere. And it's a little bit like nothing really happens, but there's a lot of sexual tension. So if you're looking for that type of vibe.
My movies are Marie Antoinette, because that movie is peak 1700s France in the best possible way with the sexiness. Yep. Sofia Coppola, Kirsten Dunst plays Marie Antoinette. Obviously, it's a pretty pro Marie Antoinette movie, which is really funny because famously not the greatest person, but it's a really good movie. A lot of hot people in it. The other movie I suggested is Barry Lyndon, also a movie that takes place in a similar era, except it's like 3.5 hours long. So if you want something that's equally as long as this book, try Barry Lyndon. But it's a beautiful movie, and it's also like low-key really funny. People like think it's serious. No, that movie is straight up a comedy. It's so funny. Ryan O'Neal plays this like bumbling, idiotic guy who just fails upwards, and it's so funny. Stanley Kubrick. So take your pick of great directors.
I love it. Alrighty.
What are we reading next? Our next book is Perfume by Patrick Suskind.
Did we just pick it? No.
No, we've had that planned for a long time, Jenna.
Yes. No, I'm very excited to read this one. Let me pull up the synopsis. So here we go. In the slums of 18th century France. Well, look at this. I wonder why.
Where are we again?
I wonder why she chose this. The infant Jean-Baptiste. How did you say that?
I said Grenault, but maybe
Grenault, yep. Is born with one sublime gift, an absolute sense of smell. As a boy, he lives to decipher the odors of Paris and apprentices himself to a prominent perfumer who teaches him the ancient art of mixing precious oils and herbs. But Grenault, I don't know. His genius is such that he is not satisfied to stop there, and he becomes obsessed with capturing the smells of objects such as brass doorknobs, the fresh cut wood. And then one day he catches a hint of a scent that will drive him on an ever more terrifying quest to create the ultimate perfume, the scent of a beautiful young virgin. Yikes.
Yeah! Let's get creepy with it!
So, Perfume, here we go. This is reminding me a lot of Rouge by Mona Awad, so I'm hoping that this is a better version of Rouge.
Definitely won't, because it's written by a man. So... Let's strap in, folks.
Let's go.
Let's strap in for what is ultimately definitely going to be a sexist ride.
Honestly, I love it because you always choose male authors. Sierra always chooses female authors, and so we get a nice mix.
It's so funny because truly, I don't know what's wrong with me. You know what I mean? Like, what is my fucking problem? Like, I love women and am one. And yet I choose these books that are truly so misogynistic and awful, and I need to examine that. Do you subtly
just want to, like, go at them?
I think that's maybe what it is. But I have a feeling this is going to be well written. I have a feeling this is an interesting synopsis, and it's a great excuse to dive into smell. So
catch us on the next
something that translates very easily to podcasting.
Yes.
So join us next time, folks.
Grab your perfumes, grab your drinks, and join us for Perfume.
Yes, exactly.
One. All right.
That's me sniffing.
Yep.
Cheers.
Until next time. Cheers. Well, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed listening. If you liked it, please go give it 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this right now. And if you want more book-related content, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at RW Reads Podcast. That's at RWREADS PODCAST on Instagram and TikTok.